Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. Tate, Old Sparty, history has been made. I've got to start with that. Border battle. Give a shout out to Coach Coleman, Old Sparty, Summit. Man, what a game. We were there. WCTV Game of the Week. Game day. Talk a little bit about it because you were there for game day, man. We've done a lot of those shows. We really have. And I'm not sure that there was a better one atmosphere-wise. I'm not sure there was a better one from start to finish than the border battle this year.
It was strong. I know this. The two biggest turnouts we've ever had. We've had some big turnouts. Were Brentwood at Ravenwood, I think, 3 years ago,
That's
2
correct.
years ago. And 3 years ago. And then this one. I mean, it was literally from middle of the press box all the way over to the end of the bleachers.
From 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
From 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. They were in the whatever that was. It was body paint night or something. I don't know. They're all painted in white and singing Journey and Miley Cyrus. It was awesome. It was a great environment. They brought it. They were excited to be there, and you could tell they were fired up, man. They thought they had a chance. They obviously knew something I didn't know. They were a big part of it. It was a great environment. Great high school. It was a college-like atmosphere.
I'm just glad that you could pick Indy to give me another game
That's right.
back. But
I will admit, I picked Indy. I'm wrong. But last week on the show, after the Spring Hill loss, I said, Coach, don't worry. They lost to Spring Hill last year. They got it all worked out.
you did in your favor, in your defense.
But then I did pick wrong.
Now the question is, how many can they run off? How many can they run off? They won 7 last year. After that fact, they finally got the monkey off the back. They've beaten Independence. Can they run and get more than 7 wins this year?
I would think so. I guess what we're going to find out here is how mature this team is. They like Coach Coleman talked about after the game. The senior class last year and the class before, they laid the foundation and got them to the playoffs last year. And so here we are trying to build upon it. First win over Independence in school history. So it seems like this team is mature enough and has enough leaders and has the right kind of stuff in the locker room to do it. We'll find out. But if Friday night was any indication, then yes, I think they could win 8-9 games. But they're going to have to play well.
Well, the atmosphere from game day carried over into the entire community for the entirety of the game. There was 1,000 pre-sold tickets. That's up 250 tickets from last year on this game. Both sides, the Indy Nation was packed. Shout out to them as well. You could not have asked for a better stage, better atmosphere for the game. What is a little bit mind-blowing to us because we're not used to it. Is the fact that Summit came out and was the aggressor. It's kind of like the Mayweather-McGregor fight, right? They came out as the aggressor. And we kept thinking the entire time that Independence, the old Independence that we know, was going to come out and rip the hearts out of this Summit Spartans team once again and come back with a late charge. Never happened. Matter of fact, the final score was 31-17. It could have been 31-10. I think Ty Carter was in the backfield there as corner and slipped and fell and gave up one of those touchdowns. Also, if you look at it too, Ethan Cash passed to number 40 at one point in time, was dropped. It could have been a touchdown as well. You can't play the hypotheticals and if and buts, but 31-17 was the final. They finally have done it, knocked them off. 5 years in the making. Storm the field, border battle trophy is handed over. It's one of those things. It's a low point right now for Independence. Independence is going to have to figure out a way to get back on the horse. Get this thing. This thing is not over by any stretch of the imagination. They have started 0-2, but they have not had a region game. They open up this week with a region game. So Coach Blade and his team are not dead in the water by any stretch of the imagination.
No, well, and that's the deal. You hit the nail on the head. They're 0-2, but they're 0-0 in the region. So that, I would think, would be the message this week. And it has to be the message this week. And we knew that they were replacing a lot of people. Sometimes you see the firepower they have on the outside and then in the backfield. But we're seeing up close and personal now. That line, if you can't control that line of scrimmage, you've got problems. Sounds to me like Summit controlled the line of scrimmage from the opening horn to the end. And, a couple things that I thought were really neat, you were talking about that, is number one, and Coach Coleman talked about it in game day, if you were able to see game day, but, you look back at the last 2 Independence games, you look at the Cane Ridge game last year, some of the Spring Hill games, they're up, but they haven't been able to close it out. They obviously did that Friday night. That's awesome. I tell you another thing that jumped out to me, Jatavion Hayes with the 97-yard kickoff return. I can't remember the last time anybody has returned a kickoff for a touchdown against Independence. I can't remember it. Because I don't think it's happened in a long, long time. Maybe it has, but it's not sticking out to me. That was a playmaker right there making a play. Summit has not had that in the past.
And speaking of that, we've heard Coach Coleman talk about this young man. This young man came in from the north. I have not had an opportunity to see him play, but you're talking about this particular play that was pretty much a game changer. And it's also the first of 2 WCTV plays of the week. They don't need to let that thing get out of hand early. Deep kickoff.
Some room to return it here. Some room to return it.
Got to see him. He's gone.
He might be gone.
Creed, he's gone. What an answer.
Wow.
This is what we talk about.
The answer.
This is what we talk about. Come out, answer the doorbell, and he has.
That's Jatavion Hayes.
What? Hey, there's another one right there. What happened? They just went to Lincoln Field, scored a touchdown. Ty Carter hasn't touched. He's resting, folks.
It's true.
You better buckle up.
Here we go on the replay. Let's see where he catches it here. Wow, that's close to the goal line.
Yeah, it's about a 93, 94-yarder, maybe even more than that.
You saw it when he came through this pack right here.
Oh, yeah.
All he had the kicker. He had to make a move on the kicker, and that kicker doesn't have a whole lot of a chance standing there staring at him coming toward him.
What a return, man. Javion Hayes, senior. Now, as you can see, there's several things. There's one thing I want you to see in this play. George Adamegwu sets a block at the very end. That is a microcosm of how that young man played the entire game. He comes in this game, 21 touches, 82 yards, several catches, several things that he did on both sides of the ball. That brings us to play 2 of, look, this game was so good we had to have 2 plays of the week of Ethan Cash on a wheel route, or throwing to George Adamegwu on a wheel route, beautiful ball thrown. This is the second play of the week. Back into my coaching days about hitting in the mouth, but you see the analogy I'm making, right? You can't lay down.
Now here we got a rare sight.
Oh, what a pass.
Wow, perfect.
Unbelievable. What a cut.
And a nice move at the end of it.
Listen, quarterback is down.
Oh, the quarterback.
What a throw. I'm talking, that's not the quarterback, forgive me. That was an unbelievable, you want to talk about timing routes, you want to talk about a beautiful ball right there. Ethan Cash, money.
He's money.
On the money.
Great job running after he caught it too, making a little move. Here we go. Good time for him to throw that ball too.
A perfect thrown pass.
Beautiful.
Ladies and
little
gentlemen,
move right here at the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, it don't get better than that in high school. Now, that's what the wing tee brings to you, a little misdirection. He goes out on that wheel route. But you got to comment on the pass, first and foremost, to put the ball on the money. Now, Ethan Cash is a sophomore.
He was 5 for 7. That was another thing Coach Coleman spoke about. Quarterback's got to grow up. He's got to grow up in a hurry. Bad thing is, it's week 2, his second start ever of his sophomore year against Independence. He went 5 for 7. He went 5 for 7 for 139 yards, and that touchdown to Adamegwu. It was a great play. I mean, great throw. He couldn't have thrown it any better, and so that was neat to see him do that. We've known he brought a different dimension to the offense this year. He's got an arm. He can do some things differently than they've done in the past. But again, he's a sophomore going into his second start. 5 for 7. They'll take that every single night. And you mentioned Adamegwu. He had 82 rushing yards. He had 109 receiving yards.
191 total.
On 2 catches.
That's right.
191 total. 2 touchdowns. That 50-yarder right there.
So what do you learn from that? It's pretty simple. Coach Coleman, throw that football.
Throw the ball. Eric Coleman. Right. Eric Coleman's back.
Eric Coleman's back.
But what the other great thing is Ty 135 yards. Now we got people making play. You cannot just concentrate on Ty. If you do, one of these other guys is going to get you. And, now the offense opens up even more. And the Cash kid, he's only, is he going to go 5 for 7 every night as a sophomore? No. But he's going to keep getting better and better. And he can do some things that they haven't been able to do before, especially stretching the ball downfield with his arm.
I was talking about Ty Carter is not even enough to really know what he brings to this team.
Right.
So many little nuances in this by making the defense come to him with the halfback pass, 2 of those for touchdowns in the first first week against Spring Hill to playing defense, to doing these things. He kept getting with George Odumegwu's success, allowed him to have a few rests and not have to get so many carries. But 135 yards. Get this, it's only 2 quarters and a half.
Right.
Didn't even play fourth quarter.
And the other thing it does is as we get later on into the year, playoff football, the more Odumegwu can develop as a running back. Ty is also their best defensive back. Well, the more rest he can get on the offensive end without us giving up production, that puts him out there on defense. The other thing, real quick, because 31-17, the defense played lights out against one of the most explosive offenses perennially in the mid-state. Alex Melton's defense, 5 sacks. That's big time.
Well, Troy Henderson, we talked about him a lot, rushing, running back for Independence, 7 carries, -4 yards. Nathan Cisco, the quarterback, -52 yards on those sacks for a net total of -56 yards. Coach Blaze talked about got to get the offensive line worked out. They will. Just didn't happen this game. The energy levels were different. You could obviously tell by Summit coming out, especially when they scored first. And I was trying to think in my mind, I wondered if they had scored first at any point in time during this 5-game series. Probably not. They came out and scored, and then they got to stop right after that. Harold Arana was a bright spot for Independence. 6 catches, 101 yards. Sheffield, 6 catches, 105 yards, had a good game. Kendrell Scurry held to 37 yards on 4 catches. So, they got some things they got to work out. And I think once those timing routes get worked out and Cisco and the receivers get on the same page on a few things, they're still going to be the same team. It's just they got to get to that point.
Yep. Offensive line's got to gel, mold, and that's tough to do. There's 5 guys you got to get playing together. They will. Again, they're 0-0 in the region. If they beat Centennial, I think that would make them second place in the region, I think.
That's correct. Centennial right now 1-1 at Hendersonville. Was not favorable for the Cougars. They lost 56-21. Tate, what do we know about this game?
Well, I know Coach Kreisky's not happy. And if I was him, I probably wouldn't be either. They were down, I think, 35-21 in the first half. I think the thing that would be alarming is you're down 35-21 in the first half. Weren't playing well, but had some good things going offensively. Jariel scored, a long one from, I think, about 50 yards, rushing the ball. So they had some good things going there. They come out in the second half, they score no points. Obviously, Hendersonville scores 24 more. So I think there was maybe some effort things he wasn't real happy about. The good thing is you can fix those, but. Hendersonville's Coach Hatfield. He's one of the most tenured coaches in the mid-state. He's been to 4 state championship games. He's the Buffalo Bills of TWSAA high school football. 4 state championship games, 4 runner-ups. They run a great program. So let's start there. But for them to pass for the amount of yards that they did out of the wing tee, they're not normally a passing team. That's pretty scary. So you're at 1-1. You had a good win over Ravenwood. You had a not good loss against Hendersonville, but you got a chance to make it right this week. But there's some things that they got to get fixed. Luckily, outside of the second half of that game, scoring points is not one of them.
So right now, currently, Centennial is tied with Brentwood right now, right on top of Region 6A. So, you can build off that and continue on. Speaking of Brentwood right now, arguably, the best team in the WCS Sports Conference right now, 3rd in mid-state polls in all large schools, with a huge statement win. This was a big-time win for Coach Crawford and the Bruins. Bruins moved to 2-0 over a very stout Cane Ridge team that was touted one of the best teams in 5A. They won 41-21. They were down 14-0 at one point and ran off how many?
34 unanswered
34
points.
Yeah. So what do we know about that? You look at the stat sheet. Stat sheet doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Total passing yards, 236 to Cane Ridge's 247. Total rushing yards, 93 to the opponent's 121. But on the scoreboard, it's a pretty lopsided victory. So what do we know about this game?
Well, yeah, one, Cane Ridge, as there's 8 more weeks of the regular season, or 9 more weeks to get 8 more games in. Cane Ridge will be one of the top 6A programs in the mid-state, the state.
5A.
5A. No. They're 6A this year. They moved up. They're 6A.
Mr. Producer, need to check that for us.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can book that one.
Okay.
They're in there with Laverne, Stewart's Creek. They're going to win their region.
Okay.
That's okay. They're going to be one of the top 6A programs. They start off 14-0 up on Brentwood. They score on the first possession. Brentwood fumbles a kickoff return. They're down 14-0. They turn around and score 34 unanswered points. And, the offense just played so great. Shacklet, 236 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Here's the thing I loved about it. 3 touchdowns, 3 different receivers. Chase Bishop caught one, Avery Williams caught one, Parker Bouillon caught one, and then Grant Yoakum didn't have a touchdown pass, but he had, 5, 6, 7 catches for over 95 yards. Just really, really played well. So 41 points against Cane Ridge. I'll be interested to see if anybody else scores that many points against them. And then the other great thing is defensively. Okay, they start off down 14-0, spot them 7 with the fumble kickoff. 6 turnovers, 5 of them are interceptions. 1 is a fumble recovery. C.J. Grissom had 10 tackles. He's a dude, man. That's a bad man. And I believe an interception. So, and again, this is against what many people consider one of the top 6A programs in the state. So, right now, we're biased, but right now I think you have to say Blackman's the top team in the state.
Oakland.
Some people would say Oakland.
No, I'm saying Oakland would probably be second.
And they are. They're
right. Legitimately
by
so.
the end of the year, well, right now, but, and Brentwood will keep getting better. I think this is a special Brentwood High team.
Got an opportunity. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Franklin, one of those teams that we thought were going to be vying for the Region 6 crown, 0-1 in region play right now, but they're 0-2 on the season. Lost to a really good Riverdale team, I think, that's kind of going under the radar behind those 2 big giants in Rutherford County right now, but lost 24-7. What do you know about this team, and where do you think the Rebels' state of mind is?
Well, I think Riverdale's better than what you just said. I think Riverdale's better than what people think they are. They had their quarterback, Christian Soufont, had a gruesome leg injury, man. You hate to see that.
And we wish him the best.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. He had surgery on Saturday. From what I understand, he came out of it fine, but he won't be playing anymore his senior
year, man.
Yeah.
It couldn't. That's as bad as a
tough.
Yeah.
And it was just a freak deal. It was nothing. So you hate to see that, but they just and with him, I think Riverdale's really good. That's what people were finding out. So, but I think on the Franklin side, the one positive that came out of it, Matt Gacka, he had 78 yards and a touchdown, and so obviously he's developing. But they were held to 41 yards in the first half. You're not going to win many games that way. And I think on the passing game, they only passed for 37 yards. So we talk so much about that running game, and that's what you saw last year. The running game did set up the passing game, but the threat of the pass being there helped, right? So they've got to get that going with the rest of the games that they're going to have to win. They can't pass for 37 yards and win very many games. Gave up 268 rushing yards, but I think as we'll see, Riverdale's a really good team running the ball. So
as the year progresses, yeah. And they may have a chance to knock off one of those 2 big that we talked about.
That's right. And, who knows? It's 2 games in. Right now, Brentwood, we're just talking about maybe they're the second best team in 6A. Franklin lost 14-10 to them. So I don't know. Maybe Riverdale's really good. I don't know.
Well, you got to look at this. Brentwood, Franklin, going to get up for it. You've beaten Riverdale the last 2 years. Lose focus, all of a sudden you lose this game.
Right.
So you take it at face value. When it comes end of the year, top 4 teams in Region 6A, I think Franklin is in that top 4 going to playoffs.
You would think so.
Ravenwood, 1-1 versus Siegel. They may have a little something to say for this. Coach Daniels gets the monkey off his back. Congratulations, Matt Daniels. First career win as a head coach in a shootout. Beat Siegel 45-42. That's a lot of points. 87 combined points in a high school game is a lot.
87 combined points. 998 total yards between the 2. So the exciting thing, we get our first win as the head coach. We get a win against Siegel in an exciting game, and offensively we might have broke some records, but defensively, but they're a really good offense, and the way they play so fast, sometimes that's going to happen.
So speaking of this, Brian Garcia, first career start, comes in, goes 17 for 24 for 324 yards and 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns. Miller Powell caught 5 of those passes for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. And so Brian, he showed out. He's up for Titan Player of the Week. I don't know how he can't get it, but there's some other good ones. But he's very deserving of it. Nick Stallcup, the other quarterback that they've kind of been shuffling in and out, he had 56 rush yards, 28 receiving, and a touchdown. Anthony Holmes, 66 receiving, 25 rushing, 3 touchdowns. I mean, unbelievable. 45. The people that went to that game, what is the ticket? $7?
Yes.
They got their money's worth.
Well, they have hung their hat on in the offseason up to this point about speed, Raptor speed, speed.
I think it's Raptor fast.
Fast, speed, same thing, quick.
Right.
That's what they're going to hang their hat on. Now, if they get the defense worked out just a little bit, cut some of these points back, this team could be a really good football team and young.
And if you're going to play that fast, you're going to give up some points.
Right.
So you just don't want to give up 42.
Predominantly sophomores, get some things figured out. Their backs are against the wall right now. Lost to Centennial. Now they're going to have to beat either Indy, going to have to beat Franklin, going to have to try to beat Brentwood in the Battle of the Woods, to try to get in there. Nobody can slip up against Dixon. If you slip up against Dixon, it's a death sentence.
Right.
So
Ravenwood
right now gets their first win. Still got work to do, guys. Hang in there, Raptors. Keep going. See what happens. Get in some of these games and try to win. Get yourself in that one of those 4 slots. Ravenwood, like I said, 145-52 to move to 1-1. Page 2-0. Nolensville 0-2. A little surprising about Page right now, 43-13. Coach Rathbone's Patriots are looking really, really good.
They're looking really, really good, and I think if they lose that game to Fairview, I think they still beat Nolensville, but I don't think they beat them like this. I think this has started the season off, giving them a lot of confidence, and they got a lot of weapons, but they come out 43-13 victory, and Bubba Johnson, we talked about this on game day, and we thought he'd have over 150 yards rushing. He did, 190 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He's a sophomore.
He's a dude.
But he's a dude, and so Page seems like they're going to be a physical football team, and I like it. And Van Landingham again. You got to remember, he didn't scrimmage at all. Right. So going into the Fairview game was really his first live action, and he's as we already know he's a weapon. He's going to keep getting better. He's got some guys who can throw it to, not only Will Pierce. So this offense is playing really well, and then defensively they forced 3 interceptions. Wharton played well at times. We keep forgetting he's just a junior.
Yeah.
179 rushing yards, but he had 173 rushing yards, but he had 3 interceptions, had a rushing TD. Michael Burdick got one of those. Michael Burdick in 2 weeks has 4 interceptions, 2 interception returns for touchdowns.
That's a pretty good return
That's
rate.
a ball hawk.
Yeah, right. So Burdick playing well, Will Pierce, Bubba Johnson, Van Landingham. That's a good core right there of folks. I know we're missing some other people on this team that have contributed, but right now that team is poised to make a really deep run in 5A. Matter of fact, it's going to come down to
Page Summit.
This is going to be a huge, huge game.
That'd be big. And some people wonder, can Page move up? Oh, how are they going to handle 5A football? Right now, they're ranked in the top 10 of 5A.
Well, it sets up a huge game down the road between Page and
They got a big
Summit.
one this week.
It's going to be fun. Fairview 1-1 moves to 1-1 after beating White House Heritage 42-7. It's not anything that we didn't foresee coming,
right.
But there's some serious bright spots in there. One is being Darius James, new running back for Fairview High School.
Yeah, he was a sight for sore eyes. We knew White House Heritage was in trouble, and then with Darius James coming in, and now he's another weapon for Lusk. Open up that offense a little bit. This Fairview team's going to score a lot of points.
Well, he had 11 touches for 121 yards. I think he accounted for 4 touchdowns by himself.
If you're wondering what happened to him in the Page game, he moved. I think this is right. He didn't play in the Page game. I know
he
that.
did not get no.
Right. So
that's up for discussion, for argument and debate, but that's for a later day. All right, here we go. We're going to move to this week. We got to go through quick. Fairview versus Stewart County. Stewart County coming in at 0-2, lost to McEwen 21-14. Can you start the boats?
Oh, they're already running. It could be worse than the White House Heritage game.
Page versus Franklin County. This is an interesting matchup right here. 2-0, first region game. Franklin County's 2-0, beat Laverne 16-6. What do you think?
I think Page is really good, but they better be mature and handle this week right. Mac McCurry's got Franklin County better. This is a game Page can win, but if they think this is going to be like some of these previous Franklin County teams, it's not. They're going to have to go down there ready to take care of business. I think they do, but they're going to have to.
Good scheduler. Here we go. Nolensville at Spring Hill. Spring Hill's 2-0 right now, sitting top of a lot of polls. They beat CA 35-18. who had beaten Nashville Christian the week before. Spring Hill, really good. It's on TV. Take a deep breath.
I had one coach tell me he thinks Spring Hill might be the best defensive line they will see all year long, maybe in the mid-state. That's not good for a young freshman, sophomore, junior, Nolensville offensive line. The visor will have some tricks, but I don't know if there's going to be enough bullets in the gun.
Take a deep breath and just remember. Just keep in
process.
your mind. Keep in your mind. Just remember.
Trust the process.
That's right. Centennial at Independence. Huge game. Huge game. You can't put enough statement on this game right here. I mean, this is for those third and fourth spots that we're talking about.
This one and the game we're going to talk about in two are the two biggest games maybe all year for both these guys.
Right.
They both have some bright spots. They both have some things they got to get fixed.
Brentwood, Dixon County, once again, I've just put my keys in ignition and I've cut the boat on because this is not going to be close.
Shacklett's eating popcorn in the third quarter.
That's a good one. Ravenwood versus Franklin. This has got to be one of the huge games that you're alluding to.
Huge.
I mean,
Huge.
What can you say? Dr. Defense is trying to get his first win. Ravenwood just got their first win. Region matchup. Let's just play hypotheticals for a moment. Ravenwood wins this game. Now they're setting up for a big-time Battle of the Woods game to try to get themselves in position to do it. So that's an interesting thought. Summit at White County. This is we've got to drive 4 hours to get a W, so be it. Sparta, Tennessee.
It's a region game, I think.
It is. White County lost to Warren County 55-14. Cannot lose focus.
How mature are we? Because we should win this game.
Out of conference play, 3-5. We're inching back to that 500 mark. We started off pretty rough. This week we went 2-2. We're 3-5 total now for the week. For the season. You were 4-3 last week. I mean, I was 4-3. You were 3-4. It brings it to 5-8 to 7-6 total.
We're not doing too well.
Hey, Mr. Producer, what errors do we have today?
All right, guys. So today we had you were talking about number 40 for Summit. That's Nick Johnson. Just want to give his name for the folks at home there.
Nick Johnson.
And Tate was right. Cane Ridge is 6A. They are in Region 5, 6A.
Mr. Producer, you can
Thank
go
you.
back behind the glass now. Thank you very much for coming out there and calling out my errors. My apologies. Yes, that Cane Ridge is a 6A program, and we're predicted by a lot by the big medias to be right there at the end of the thing when this smoke clears.
I believe a couple of them picked them to beat Brentwood last week.
I think they did, but they were wrong on that.
They were wrong.
So, anyway, we'll see what happens this week. It's going to be fun.
A lot of great games. Go to one of them.
A lot of great games. WCS Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.